Today, I'm going to be talking about why far too many coaching businesses fail and how you can avoid it. The coaching industry, you guys, it is a $13.4 billion industry. It's a $13.4 billion industry. When I started my coaching business 6 years ago, coaching was still like this thing that was up and coming, like it was known, but it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. It has blown up. And based on some recent statistics, it says that it's going to grow to about a $22 billion industry within the next 5 years. But even though that's great, and even though it's fantastic that it's such a big booming industry and that it's projected to grow year after year, the statistics also show that 82% of coaching businesses actually fail, which breaks my heart. It breaks my heart on so many levels, because that tells me that there's so many coaches out there who are getting into the industry for one reason or another, right? But I want to believe that it is to help others, right? And the staggering rate at which coaching businesses are failing just means that not enough coaches are out there getting their work into the world, supporting people, making change, impacting lives, transforming lives, right? So the funny thing about that whole setup, though, is that the reason why most coaching businesses fail, in my experience and from what I've seen, has nothing to do with your potential as a coach, your ability to help people, and it has more to do with two key things that I am going to be talking about today. So this is a big topic. So what I've decided to do is break it down into two parts. Today is going to be part one. And today we're going to talk about the first piece, which is the mindset piece. And I want to really start with the mindset piece, you guys, because it is always, one more time, always the thing. It is always the mindset piece, right? So I really want to start with that. And I really want to prioritize and emphasize that, because as new coaches, and many of you within my community are new coaches, I really want you guys to hear me. And I really want you guys to get this, because if you can start getting this and nipping this in the bud now, your chances of succeeding as a coach and your business succeeding as a coach 10 times, like 10x, right? Put a 1 in the comments and let me know if you are a coach and how long you have been, in business. If you're a new coach, if you've just started coaching, how long you've been in business. Put that in the comments for me. When we get started and when we're in business and we're getting started with business, we tend to focus on all those things, right? Those tangible things that we think are important, and they are important. They're absolutely 100% important to business, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. But what often gets overlooked is that mindset piece, right? Because we get busy doing all the things and we don't realize how big of a role our mindset actually plays in our success, and our mindset actually plays in the success of our business. And I'm sure each and every one of you get that on some conceptual level. You all get that, right? But it's not often prioritized when we are looking at, okay, what do we have to do for business today? Like, what are the things that we need to do? We don't often prioritize that. And so I really share with you guys that for me on my business journey, it has been hands down the thing that I have had to work on over and over again. It is the thing that I continue to work on. It is a thing that I work with each and every one of my private clients on and my students on, because I know for a fact, what I know to be true is when your marketing game is strong, your business game is strong, your strategy game is strong, your sales game is strong, everything else is strong. So today I'm going to chat about the marketing piece, like I said, right? So I've broken it down into six things that I have observed, I've seen over the years that has resulted in coaching businesses failing from a mindset standpoint. And so I'm just going to dive in and share what those things are. Okay, so the first thing, and the first reason I think that from what I've seen coaching businesses fail is because coaches are building a business that is not aligned with their unique strengths and their unique values, okay? So what does that mean? When you get started in business, and even in life in general, I don't know how often people sit down and they actually think about, what are my values? What are the values I'm living by, right? Unless you're presented with a confrontation or you're presented with something that triggers that, that's when those types of things come up. And so it's also true for business, where we don't often stop at the beginning of your business and define what are the values of your business? What are the values of you that you're bringing, your personal values to your business and to your strength and your unique strengths? So what often happens is, and from what I've seen, is that people go out, coaches go out, they start the business, they start strong, and then they start building a business based on all the other things they think they should be doing. They start building the business based on what everyone else is doing, what everyone else out there on the internet is doing, what everyone says that they should be doing, how everybody else's business model is made and done. So like if Shelly is doing videos, then I'm going to do videos. If Lisa is doing blog posts, I'm going to do blog posts, right? Without ever stopping to consider and think, do these strategies, is the way that I'm building my business aligned with my unique values and my unique strengths, right? Because what often happens is when it is not, that is when a disconnect gets created, right? And that's when a lot of coaches start to feel that disconnect with their business. And that's when business starts to feel hard. That's when they start to burn out. That's when things feel off and they get into a funk. And when things feel off and you're in a funk and you feel disconnected, it's very hard to show up for your business, and it's very hard to show up consistently for your business, right? So a practical example of that could be when we come to values. And I talk about this a lot because I'm a mom of 3. And so I know that there was a portion of time in my business where I was facing a huge value conflict, where it was a conflict between me and my family and my business. And I felt torn between the two because of the business, the way I was running my business at that time. And I felt as though that there was no free space, no white space, it was like costing one for the other. Every time I was with my kids, I'd be thinking about my business. Every time I was with my business, I'd be feeling guilty for not being with my kids. And the reason why was because I had set up my business and I built my business in a way that was not aligned with my values, right? And it wasn't aligned with my strengths either, because I was doing things that just took 10 times longer because it just didn't feel good. It was what I thought I had to be doing versus what felt good for me, what aligned with my strengths and what aligned with the ways that I wanted to do my business. And so another example of this could be if you're someone who has a very busy lifestyle, right? And you want to have the freedom to travel and you want to have the freedom to and a lot of my clients love to be able to travel and want to have that freedom. That's why we go into business for ourselves, right? But then if you are chained to your desk every single day, coaching 15 clients per week, that doesn't give you that flexibility. Sure, it gives you the income, but it's only a matter of time before you start to reset your business, or before there be, that feeling of disconnect starts to build up, because your values, your strengths, those things that make you uniquely you are being put on the back burner, right? So I do want to say that I don't believe that you should ever have to choose between your values. So like, for instance, one of my top value is family, but it's also success and freedom, right? And I have no shame in admitting that. So it wasn't about me giving up one for the other. It wasn't about me saying, if I wanted to be successful in business, I had to give up time with my kids. Or if I wanted to be a good mom, I had to give up, my business. It was never about that. And I want to make clear that it's never about that. But it's about understanding what your unique values are, understanding what your strengths are, understanding what's important to you, and building your business around that. So I had to find and create a business model and a lifestyle and systems within my business to facilitate both of my values, to facilitate growing a business that's successful and still being present and being a good mom, as good as I can be, right? So I just wanted to point that out. So back to the example about, if you're someone who wants to travel and if you want to have a lifestyle that allows you to travel and be more free, but then you're chained to your computer because you're coaching or you're writing content or you're doing whatever the case may be, it's only a matter of time before you start to feel that burnout, right? And business starts to feel hard. And when business starts to feel hard, you give up on your business, right? So for you, something more like, group programs or courses or something like that might be a better solution because it allows you to leverage your time more, right? And again, this is where it comes down to actually knowing what those values are, actually sitting down and taking a good look at what those things are, understanding what your unique strengths are, understanding how you like to create content, how you like to connect with your audience, how you like to run your business, right? Understanding those things and making sure that you're building a business that's in alignment with that. The second mindset piece is the imposter syndrome. Now, who here is guilty of imposter syndrome or comparisonitis? I am not judging because I'm the first one to put my hand up, right? We are living in an age, a digital age. Social media is everywhere. There is not a single one of my clients or not a single person that I have spoken to in this online space that has not felt this to some degree. I don't care how much of a guru and how much of a whatever you are. There's not a person that has not looked at your quote unquote competitor and saw what they were doing and have it not create some sort of energy within you, right? What happens so often with coaches, especially new coaches, is and this is something that it takes work. It takes work to like create a shift in your energy around when you see your competitors or you see somebody else putting things out. It takes work to turn that from envy into inspiration, to turn that into something that actually motivates you, right? But imposter syndrome is one of the number one things, you guys, that my clients and so many people that I know complain about. It's like, again, we are living in an age of social media. We're living where everything is just available. As soon as you log on, the news feed is overflowing with everybody else, right? And how they're living and how they're doing and blah, 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 blah. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. It's so easy to like look at what Charlotte's doing or what Dee is doing or what anybody else is doing and let that mean something about you or your business or your abilities, right? And what happens so often with coaches, and I will go out on a limb and say female coaches, right, is that we start to internalize that and we start to make that mean, like I said, something about us or our business or how we are or not doing something. And 100% that has to stop. That is one of the things that is ruining coaches from succeeding. It is tearing so many coaching businesses down, you guys, because of looking on somebody else's paper, right? That has to stop. If you are someone that has been guilty of that, and again, hands up, I definitely know I have. Like she has a nicer feed than me, her content is good, her, whatever the thing is, right? Thankfully, it's not something I struggle with anymore, but it's definitely something that I've had to overcome, right? And again, I'm very transparent about my journey because I know we're real humans behind our business. We're real humans behind our computer. So what I've had to do over the years, what I've coached my clients on through over the years is two things. One, like if you know you're really susceptible to your energy being drained by that and you're not ready to deal with it in a healthy way, then it's really just about just going cold turkey and unsubscribing or unfollowing, right? If you know there are certain things that trigger you and it's not healthy for you and it's not serving you or serving your business, unsubscribe and just stop following certain things and certain people, or just take a good long break. But I know that taking a break from social media isn't always a viable option because we run our businesses on social media, right? So it's really about having boundaries and about using social media for what it is and not, again, letting it mean anything else to you or mean anything else about you or your business. And one of the things that I always encourage my clients to do is turning that envy or whatever that energy is into inspiration. Like literally reach out to the person, comment on their thing, like their thing, create a connection with that person. That lowers the intimidation level so much. And so often we realize that that's just another human behind that, right? And one of the things I share often is that we don't know what goes into anybody else's business. We don't see the behind the scenes of that. So we don't know if when she's saying she's made 6 figures, what went into that. We don't know if the grass is really greener on the other side. So don't waste your energy thinking about it. Don't waste your time and your energy fascinating over it, or wasting just the time that you're spending thinking about somebody else or looking at somebody else. You could be taking that same time and energy and applying it to your business and growing your business and growing your following and growing your numbers, right? So if it's somebody that you admire, right? It's somebody that you like the way that they're doing things, you like the way they're showing up, you like their content, you like whatever the case may be. It's not about copying, but it's about, how do I use this as inspiration? How can I get motivated by this? How can I do more of that in my business? Is she showing up more on stories? And it's something that I know that I want to do. So start showing up more on stories, right? Is it creating content that you resonate with? What is it about that content that you resonate with? And how can you kind of bring that to your marketing, right? So it's really about shifting your energy around the feelings of comparisonitis or imposter syndrome. The third mindset piece, the third thing that is making coaching businesses fail when it comes to the mindset piece, is the shiny object syndrome, okay? The shiny object syndrome, the jumping from one thing to the next, the wanting the magic pill, wanting to fast track your results. What happens so often in this coaching space, and we've seen this, and you've all likely seen this, the narrative in the coaching space is, do X, Y, or Z, and you're going to hit your figures. All you need to do is follow this 10-step framework, and you're going to hit $1 million, or, whatever the thing is, whatever that shiny object thing is that everybody is out there spouting and promoting and doing their thing. Oh, it has to be videos. Oh, it has to be blogs. Oh, it has to be DMs. Oh, it has to be Facebook ads. It has to be Facebook. It has to be LinkedIn. It has to be Pinterest. It has to be Instagram. It's exhausting just talking about it. Oh my God. So there's a million different strategies and a million different things out there you can do. Hands down. It's free enterprise. Everybody has a right to sell and promote and talk about their thing like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Your responsibility, though, is on cherry picking the things that you need and applying what you need to your business, and not jumping from one thing to the next, right? Because what often happens so often with shiny object syndrome is that one, you end up consuming more than implementing, right? Like, you're downloading all the freebies, you're watching all the webinars, you're signing up for all the things, right? And your brain and your hard drive becomes flooded with all this information, and you're consuming instead of actually implementing and executing, right? And when you do go out to try to implement and execute, you're confused because you've been consuming strategy from 15 different people, right? And you're thinking, it's to be this, it's that, is it that, is it that? And your marketing and your mindset and your business and every single thing is all over the place, right? You're like a chicken running around without a head on. Obviously, that damages your business. Obviously, that stagnates your growth. Obviously, that causes coaching businesses to fail, because you cannot jump from one thing to the next and expect it to work, right? And what happens, again, and I've said this before and I've shared this before and I will continue to share this, the narrative in this coaching space, in this online coaching industry, is that you can do X, Y, or Z and you get to this place in overnight, or whatever these different things are. And what happens is newer coaches, or coaches who are still trying to get to that level of where they want to get to, buy into that narrative because it's all we see. We constantly see this all over. all over social media, right? And you buy into this narrative that if my business doesn't hit this number in this time frame, then that must mean I'm doing something wrong. And if I'm doing something wrong, then I need to switch things up and I need to try this other thing, right? And you start and you stop and you start and you stop and you start and you stop. And you never actually, you like quit before you get to the finish line, right? And it is, again, the fastest way to burnout. It is the fastest way to confuse not just yourself, you confuse your audience that way, right? You have no clear path, no clear structure, no clear strategy in how you are going to get to whatever that result is, because you're picking from a million different things. You're seeing what everybody else is doing out there. You want to fast track those results and you want to get to 6 figures in 6 weeks, right? And you're thinking this next webinar or this next course or this next coach or this next thing is going to be the magic pill that's going to help me get to that. And the truth of the matter is nothing hurts your business faster than that, right? Nothing hurts your business faster than that. So what you need to be doing is deciding on one thing, deciding on the one or the few things that you know, again, aligns with your strengths and your values, right? And that makes sense for you and your business, and commit, like decide on that thing and commit to that thing and focus on making that one thing work. Like one of the things that I have had to become very, very disciplined about over the years is picking one thing, deciding on that one thing, focusing on it, committing to it, and seeing it till the end, like just almost having like tunnel vision around it, right? Because everything works when you work it. And when you know what is that one strategy that you're going to commit to, and you've checked all the boxes that it feels good, it aligns, it works for your business, blah, 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 commit to it, see it out, decide that this is the thing and stick to it. So often, and I'm going to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but so often, people coaches jump from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And all that does is stagnates your growth and your potential as a business, because it doesn't give your audience enough time to get to know you. It doesn't give you enough time to actually implement a strategy, stick to the strategy, and see the strategy through, right? So shiny object syndrome, again, one of the things that I recommend, if you know you're somebody that I say fall for it, but like you get distracted by that, again, unsubscribe or unfollow, because you have to know your weaknesses. Just as you know your strengths, you have to know your weaknesses. And if you know you're somebody that's easily distracted, and you know you're someone that just jumps for the next best thing as soon as you see it, and that doesn't serve you, then you've almost got to do the hard thing and remove that thing from you. Like you've got to help yourself. So just physically remove the distractions away from you. It's like, if I know I have to work and my kids I have to physically go to another part of the house or get them out of the house so that I can focus. Because if you're not focused on one thing, if you don't know where you're going, you'll never know when you get there. Thing number 4. Now, this is a big one. They're all big, but this one is one that I harp on a lot as well. And I harp on all of these. What am I talking about? Let's be honest. I harp on all of these. But this one is discipline. The reason why so many people coaching businesses fail is because there's a lack of discipline. And coaches are simply not walking their talk and doing they're not walking their talk, and they're not doing what they know is required in order to get success in their business, right? So they're just not showing up as the versions of themselves that is required to succeed and to get results. So what do I mean like that? So there's a saying, and I know I'm going to butcher this quote. I know I'm not going to get it right, but the gist of it is something like, you have to act like the person that you want to become, right? And if you are someone who want to be making 6 figures, then guess what? You need to start acting like a 6-figure business owner now, right? And so many coaches fail to do this. So many coaches fail to do this. business. It's like, oh, I'm going to hire the coach when I get the clients. No, that's not how it works. I'm going to get the VA when I get more, followers or whatever, when I need it. Like, you have to think about you have to act as if, right? Like, if you're already there, you have to act as if now. Make decisions, show up as a boss, show up as a CEO, do what you need to do in your business, like as if you were already at your results. And the truth of the matter is, not enough people, and I'm not even going to just say coaches, like people in general are just not disciplined enough when it comes to this. Entrepreneurship, you guys, and business, it's hard work. It takes work, okay? You're not just going to wake up and all of a sudden the floodgates are going to open and clients are going to come banging down your door, throwing their credit cards at you. It doesn't work that way, right? It requires work. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the time. You need to be dedicated. You need to be focused, and you need to be disciplined. And that is honestly the cold, hard truth. Nothing, every single coach that you're out there admiring, every single influencer and big name person that you're out there following and admiring, guess what? They've put in the work and currently probably are still putting in the work. It takes work. It takes discipline. You go into business for financial freedom or financial independence, for more time with your family and all the things, right? And a business doesn't just build itself. You have to show up for your business and be disciplined enough, creating your routines, creating your structures, creating your boundaries around your time so that you can show up as that CEO version of yourself so that your business succeeds. Like, hands down, like that's one of the biggest things. I think that there's so many people out there that like the idea of a business. They like the idea of a business versus actually having a business. Or they see on Instagram, oh, everybody's making money on Instagram. Everybody could be a coach. Everybody could create content. Yeah, like anybody can do that, right? But is everybody succeeding? Does everybody have profits in their business? Does everybody have a process and a marketing plan in place that allows them to generate revenue and make actual profit in their business, right? So that's one of the big pieces that I see that's lacking. So the willingness to actually put yourself, like acting as the person you want to become. You want to make six figures, start showing up as a six-figure business owner today. Like, get into that discipline, get into that mindset, get into that routine, because that is the thing that's going to help you get to six figures. If you want to lose 10 pounds, guess what? You need to start eating healthier. You need to start moving your body more. And guess what? You're going to lose weight. You cannot sit around and magically wait for the weight to fall off. You want to get clients? Guess what? You got to go out there. You got to put yourself out there in order to get clients, right? So that's thing number 4. Thing number 5 is fear of putting themselves out there. So another big reason why coaching businesses are failing is that far too many coaches are afraid to put themselves out there and get visible, right? And they have all these made up stories in their mind about what's going to happen if they get visible, and what are people going to say, and what are people going to think, and what is it going to mean, and how am I going to sound, and how am I going to look, and I need to lose weight, and I'm too fat, and I'm too skinny, I'm too whatever the thing is. I don't have a pretty backdrop. All the things, right? And it's every single excuse in the book, all stemmed from fear. Fear of putting themselves out there and getting visible and doing it consistently, like being so consistent in it. It's not enough to just show up here for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and then drop off the face of the planet for 2 months and then come back. Like, that's not how you build credibility with your audience. That's not how you build loyalty with your audience. And that sure as hell is not how you're going to get sales in your business, right? So the truth of the matter is, people, we care more about that stuff than anybody else, right? So one of the big reasons that the mindset pieces, again, tomorrow we're going to get into the more business strategy marketing pieces, but the mindset pieces, the fear of actually putting themselves out there and getting, whether that's oh, do I need to get on video, or do I need to post? Do I need to share things? Now, there's there's strategies, there's things, there's skills, there's certain things you might need to learn and you might need to develop and you might need to know in order to do that, to build your confidence 100%, right? But it's your responsibility as a business owner to do that. It's your responsibility to know, just like I said, just as you know your strengths, to know your weaknesses. And if you know, I'm scared to get on video, and we know that it's more of a fear thing than anything else. It's literally about, how do I just do it? Take imperfect action and just do it. I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Like when I used to do live videos before, it was like a whole build up before I did them, right? Like I would build myself up and it would be this whole big thing before I went live, and then talking live would just like make me feel all weird. And then the more you do it, it's just like, whatever, it's just going live. You're doing what you need to do. You need to show up. And quite frankly, like nobody on the other side is in my head thinking, oh my God, she looks this way, or oh my God, she doesn't. And guess what? If you are, I don't care, right? Like, and you've got to almost develop that sort of like, I don't care-ness about what other people think of you, because if you do, you're never going to get yourself out there. And that's one of the main reasons I think people fear, like they fail to show up. It's fear, and fear on some level, whether it's fear to actually like, okay, I want to start a business, but now I'm afraid to put myself out there. I'm afraid of writing content. I'm afraid of getting on video. I'm afraid of sales. I'm afraid of like marketing. I'm afraid of tech, all the different fears, right? And all the different stories that we make up in our brain that actually prevents you from getting to the results that you want. So that was thing number 5. And the last and final thing, and I cannot do this without sharing this one, and that is basically, you guys, and this is probably the one that covers all of the other ones that I just shared, and that is the lack of belief and self-trust in themselves. And that's like hands down, I think, why when a lot of my clients first come to me and they're struggling in their business, before we get it to the place of prosperity and success and profitability, it's always on some level, we have to do this self-trust work. Always, because lack of self-trust leads to lack of confidence, right? And when you don't have confidence in yourself, again, it's hard to succeed and it's hard to show up from that place, because what happens is when you lack self-trust and self-belief, you constantly give your power away, right? You constantly give your power away to other things and other people. And you have to get it, like, so everything that I just shared, the comparisonitis, the shiny objects, all that stuff is some version of this lack of self-trust, because there's too many coaches out there that are going broke, quite frankly, because they're spending way too much money on courses and all these other things. Again, not that anything is wrong with courses. They all have a place, but you cannot keep putting your trust and your power in somebody else or in somebody else's product or somebody else's thing. And I know that I'm a business coach and I'm saying that, right? But it is so true, you guys. When you hire, when you invest, when you hire me as a coach or any other person as a coach, when you invest in a course, when you invest in anything in your business, it should never come from that energy of this is going to be the thing that's going to like solve all my problems. It should come from that level of that place. Like, this is what I need right now in order to grow to that next level. And this is the right investment for me. And it should never be like, if this thing doesn't work, then my business is going to fail. That should never, ever be the reason why you invest, right? You're putting way too much pressure on that thing to perform, and you're putting way too much pressure on yourself as well. And most importantly, you're giving all of your power and all of your trust away, right? So like, and again, like I can talk all day about this, because this is some of the work that I've spent a lot of my time like really, really working on. But it is really, like, no matter if you're working with a coach, no matter if you've bought all the courses, no matter what you're doing, like none of that stuff is going to work if you don't inherently trust in yourself and your abilities to succeed and to make it work. Hands down. Like none of the other things will work without this, right? So again, these are some of like the mindset pieces, you guys, that I know contributes to, like, there's so many people that I talk to. I've been in this industry for almost 7 years. And so these are some of the things that I not only have had to overcome and get support around and get coaching around and work through every single day, but it's also things that I help my clients work through. It's also things that I see in my peers and so many people that jump on discovery calls with me and become clients with me. These are some of the things that are preventing so many amazingly talented and smart coaches from actually succeeding in their business because of these mindset pieces. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions as you're watching or anything comes up to you, just go ahead and post it in the comments and I'll come back to that.